everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you with me on a Friday and Saturday in our life, a very full and wonderful weekend. So tomorrow is my parents' 40th wedding anniversary and we are throwing them a get together. So we're actually having it at the place where they got married. We're trying to stick with the color theme that they had at their wedding day. So I decided to come to Trader Joe's the day before just to make sure that I could find all of these beautiful purple and yellow and white flowers. I decided to peruse the rest of the store and I got so tickled whenever I came to this part because I saw the rainbow trout and all I could think about was in that Christmas movie, Christmas with the Cranks, whenever their daughter comes home and they have to cook the rainbow trout or whatever it is. Does anybody else remember that? I love Christmas with the Cranks. I think it's such a fun movie. I'll talk to you about this later, but I ended up finding that pumpkin ravioli and I was really excited about it. I also thought that this focaccia bread looked really delicious and I was so excited to see these pumpkins out. I didn't buy one because it still feels a little early to me here, but I just loved them. All right, so we're back home now, and for the weekend event, I have several desserts that I need to make. So I'm starting out with these magic cookie layer bars. They traditionally have 7 layers, and that includes nuts. But since I know that sometimes people are not a fan of nuts, I usually just decide to leave them out. So you start by mixing the graham crackers and the butter to make your bottom layer, to make the crust, and then you add the rest of your toppings in layers. Good morning. I just got home from Trader Joe's. I went on a run this morning to pick up some things for my parents' anniversary party this weekend. So I'm just going to take you along with me on our weekend and on what we do today. So let's hop in. Okay, so we just got back and we've got a little bit of time before we go to our outdoor day that we do for school. It's like a nature learning day. And so I had this little pocket of time. My sisters and I are making desserts for the party tomorrow, and one of them is those like magic layer, 7-layer cookie bars. They're very easy, and so I thought I'll go ahead and get one of my desserts out of the way. So that was the simplest one, that was the quickest one. The kids were both calling me, and I was distracted, and I mismeasured my amount of graham crackers. I thought it said 2.5 and it said 1.5, and so by the time I had realized this, I had already crushed up my graham crackers and mixed them with the butter and then put them as the crust. And I noticed it was a little loose, but I thought, okay. And then I'm pouring the condensed milk on and it's not spreading. It's just picking up the graham crackers as it goes. This is not doing at all what it is supposed to be. I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't know. I think that sometimes if you're online, if you're on the internet and people only see a snapshot of your life, people think that you just have it all together and you're just, happy all the time and you're calm all the time. And I was just about to throw my rolling pin through the wall. Oh, and I know what it is. I know that it's really my fault because I had this very small window of time, and I'm sure you can probably relate to this. I had this very small window of time and I could fit this thing in as long as everything went exactly according to plan. But if something took a little longer than I thought for whatever reason, because I made a mistake or because a dish was dirty or whatever, then it would put me behind. And so I should have had the forethought to think, maybe this isn't the best idea, but I thought, oh, I've got 30 minutes here. This takes 30 minutes to cook. Let's go ahead and make it. Oh, so anyway, what did I do? I just went ahead and microwaved an extra half stick of butter. The stuff was already in the pan at this point. I completely mixed the crust layer with the condensed milk, poured the extra butter on, and just kind of spread it around. And then I proceeded to do my layered toppings. I have no idea if it's going to turn out or not, but in my mind, like maybe it will. And if it doesn't, we will have learned a very frustrating lesson. Oh, I know I shouldn't let little things bother me, but sometimes stuff like that gets very frustrating, and then, you kind of end up, it was my fault, but then it was, the kids were distracting me, so then I'm kind of taking it out on the kids, and we're just gonna breathe. We're just gonna sit and regroup for a minute before we head out again. All right, while the layer bars are baking, I am going to sit down and just take 5 minutes. I'm going to enter my Trader Joe's receipt in my Fetch app. It's just gonna take a second. I mentioned that in my last video, but I'm gonna do that, and then I'm just going to clean up the kitchen a little bit. I'll show you what it looks like right now. All right, there are the Trader Joe's things I need to put away. I need to put that thermometer away. There's dishes in the sink, food out, school stuff out, and then here's where I was doing the majority of the cooking. So this is my coffee from this morning. I need to go ahead and put that in the sink. Their water bottles are ready for outdoor day, and then just the cooking stuff. But I'm gonna sit down for a minute before I address that. I will take a second here and show you the couple things that I got at Trader Joe's in addition to the flowers. So whenever I used to do Whole30, I got these one time because you really can't have chips, and I really like chips. So this was a way that I could have like a crunchy thing, but it was still within the parameters of what I could eat. So I got a pack of those. I also got these just mango slices, so it's just dried mango. There's no other ingredients, no added sugar. I've had mango strips before, but they usually have sugar, so I'm anxious to try these and to see what the kids think. And then last year at, where was it? At Bonefish Grill, they had a delicious side, or you could get it, I think, as an entree too. They had pumpkin ravioli, and it had this like creamy sage sauce, like a butter sage sauce, and then it had, let's see, feta cheese on it, and it seems like maybe some sort of nuts, maybe pine nuts or pumpkin seeds or something. So anyway, I saw this and I thought we are going to try that and make our own sauce to go with it. So those are the few things that I got from Trader Joe's. All right, I have 5 minutes left on the timer. They actually look good, so maybe they're gonna turn out okay. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the kitchen, and then we're gonna head out.
That's good.
Good. Okay, take these out to the car, please.
You want to try it?
I did try it, it's very good. All right, go out to the car, please. Whenever I start cleaning up my kitchen, it's probably the same process that many of you do, but if you ever feel overwhelmed in your kitchen and you don't know where to start, I usually start by grouping like items or by grouping zones. So I've mentioned before that I unload my dishwasher in zones. I also put things away in a way that makes sense to me. So if there are a lot of things out, I will do pantry items together and put those away. Then I will do refrigerator items and put those away. And then finally I will do the dishes and then wipe down the counters, and kind of compartmentalizing things really helps me out in that way. All right, by this point it was time to check on my layer bars. All right, kitchen is mainly better than it was. And listen, we may have to scrape it out with a knife and a spoon and whatever, but it looks really pretty. And I'm just gonna call it good. So everything ended up being fine, and I ended up changing to shorts because it was very hot. And before we left, I decided to go ahead and throw a little bit of chicken in the crock pot so that when we came home, I would be able to make supper much easier. All right, we are back home from outdoor day, and I am exhausted. I'm gonna sit down and have a small snack. Whenever we walked in the door, I was immediately greeted by the smell of the chicken. I'm so glad I thought to put that in the crock pot. I'm gonna shred the chicken up, take it off the bone, and I'm gonna make some soup, either some chicken and rice or some chicken noodle. We're passing around a little bit of something, just like postnasal drip, that kind of thing. And so I thought that soup would just be a good fix for that, a good kind of help our bodies. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going. And then I have 2 cakes to make for the party tomorrow. I have a chocolate chip pound cake, which I made in a Vlogmas video because that's normally what I make for my students whenever I give them like a little gift at Christmas for my music students. But I'm also making a pumpkin pound cake that I've made before. So I have those things to do. And then I have to decide if I'm gonna do the floral arrangements tonight or if I'm gonna do them in the morning. We have to be there at 12 to start setting everything up. So I guess I'll just kind of wait and see how the evening goes. It actually wasn't too hot at outdoor day, And it started getting kind of cooler as we were there. So I definitely appreciated that. I did still wear shorts, and I was glad that I did, because I teach folk dancing at Outdoor Day, and so I'm hopping and jumping and different things. So definitely glad that I wore shorts. Okay, let's make some soup. All right, so now we are beginning on our second recipe. It was just a girls' night this time. The boys went to a football game, so we got started on this really delicious pumpkin bundt pound cake. So you start out by mixing your oil and your sugar together, and then you add your eggs in one at a time. This cake, of course, has a lot of really wonderful spices, a lot of really nice ingredients. So you mix those dry ingredients, and then after that, you come over and you alternate adding the dry ingredients and then alternating your canned pumpkin. So Andy was a great help in this. We had a lot of fun. A couple of messes were made, but it was a lot of fun. Kind of simultaneously, I was making some soup with that chicken that you saw earlier. So I ended up opting for chicken and noodle because I had just a little bit of egg noodles left that I had used in a previous recipe. So I set those to boiling, and then here's how the soup turned out. It was really delicious, and I think it's really going to help everybody's immune system as we're fighting off whatever this little cold is. So there's the cake fresh out of the oven. It was so good. All right, moving on to our third and final dessert that we're prepping for the party. This is my chocolate chip pound cake. Again, like I said, I showed this in a Christmas video, and it's what I would call a semi-homemade cake. So it does start out with a cake mix, but then you kind of spice it up. You add some things to it. So that's a bar of German chocolate that you have to grate or chop up. And then Andy helped with cracking the eggs. This cake just wins every time. It's always a favorite. I didn't end up bringing any of the leftovers home from the party, so that tells you that it was really good. And as I said, yes, we made a couple of messes. I just had to show you guys this. I walked out today, and this is our new centerpiece on the patio, apparently. I just got really tickled. Kids are so creative and funny. Well, we stepped out to take a walk, and I just wanted to give you an update on the zinnias, and we found one of these little, what are they, leaf bugs? So here are the two that I've been kind of tracking their progress on Instagram. This is the one that we named Anne. She was the smaller of the two, but she actually bloomed first, and she's got multiple layers, or I think they call them ruffles. And so she actually surprised me on the color. And then this one is the one we've been calling Agatha, and she's just a beautiful hot pink, and she also has ruffles, but I think Anne has more layers of petals. But anyway, they are quite tall. I want to do some research and figure out why the leaves, some of them have this kind of white something on them. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even be touching it. I don't know. I need to look up and see what it is. And then when we went to the flower farm that I told you guys about, several of the zinnias there I noticed had this going on the leaves, and at the time I did not have that, but now a couple of them do, so I'm gonna have to look that up as well. You can see here again there's the kind of white spots on the leaves, and really more have that than don't at this point. I'm not sure what causes that. Cake number 2 is in the oven, and we are just going to take a nice little walk before we go in and settle down for the night. All right, so it is the next morning, and I recently re-seasoned my cast iron pan, and I'm really enjoying using that. So I fried up some eggs, and then I went over to my parents' house. They have quite a bit of greenery, and my mom said that I could come and get some of that to accentuate the flowers in my arrangements. Are you getting my face or my hands?
Your hands. And your leg.
All right, so we're getting ready to get started. I've got all the vases over there from my parents. This is the greenery that I collected this morning. So I have some ivy. I have some of this variegated seeded, I don't know, is this like a sedum? I'm not sure what it is. And then I have plenty of these. And along with it, these are some of the berries from that. Sorry, the dogs are a little, hey, it's okay. The dogs are a little stirred up. I noticed that 2 of my bunches of hydrangeas are like brown, but they are in the water. It's weird. I'm not sure what happened to these 2 bunches. The stems were down in the water, so I don't know what caused that. I'll have to, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to toss those, unfortunately. All right, so I went to my parents. I got the vases and I clipped that greenery. Gnats already. So there's really no rhyme or reason with this. I'm just gonna try to do a variety of everything. I don't have floral tape, so I'm just gonna have to do without. And I'm gonna probably start with the bigger things first, like the hydrangeas and the dahlias, and then I'll come in and fill with greenery and the smaller things. We did get all of the desserts made last night, so all of that is taken care of. So this morning I just have to play florist, and then I have to figure out what in the world I'm wearing because I have no idea. Just thick. Okay, I have all of the big flowers in place. I'm gonna come back with the smaller ones, and then I'm gonna do greenery last, kind of as a filler. I've done plants a lot from Trader Joe's. I've done flowers a lot from there. And as I'm learning more about flowers and tending to my zinnias and everything, it's just fascinating to me. I never knew how large the stems for dahlias were. I don't think I've ever bought them from Trader Joe's before. I just want to show you, like in reference to my finger, how big that stalk is. And they're very hollow. I don't know if you can see that. So I kind of had to score it with my scissors and then just break it. I need a good pair of pruning shears, but anyway. So that was just a surprise to me. So I'm gonna keep on trucking and fill these out the rest of the way. All right, I'm back. It's time for us to go. So we got to load up the car. I got the flowers to like good enough, and then I'm taking some spare greenery and some baby's breath that I can fill in once we get there. But I looked up all of a sudden and I just realized we gotta go. So I've got the flowers loaded. I'm getting ready to load the desserts, and then we're gonna head out. All right, it's party time. I'm gonna take you with me. finally, we ended the night with sushi at home and then went to bed full and tired. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.